I'm Dr. Dennis, recovery coach here at Sunshine Coast Health Center in Powell River. Welcome back to part 3 of Journey to Self-Acceptance. I hope that you're going to take some time this week to complete the self-inventory that we talked about in the material. I know that for myself, I'm going to spend some time this weekend completing one as well. I think that taking the time to do these type of self-inventories is very important and something that maybe we should do once or twice a year, just to remind ourselves of where we are, where we've been, what we've accomplished, and all the things that there are to love about ourselves. So I just want to touch on something that Robert Holden, who is a writer, says about self-rejection, and that is that self-rejection is really listening more to your ego than paying attention to your essence. And so when we're rejecting ourselves, what are we actually saying no to? Well, we're saying no to our desires sometimes. We're saying no to rest and relaxation. We're saying no to basically who we are. And you can see that if we do that all the time as a practice, that would become very draining and very hard on ourselves. So self-acceptance is about love, about loving yourself, and it determines the capacity that you have to love others as well. So, you know, if you're living in a situation where you're worried about your loved ones, or you have a lot of stress and that sort of thing, then maybe you do things like become very hard on yourself. You know, if I had been this way, things might have been different, or if I hadn't said that, then he or she wouldn't have acted in this way. And that's not very helpful, as you probably know if you've lived that. So as I've encouraged you to do in the past videos as well, to just live gently with yourself and to be self-accepting and to nurture that sense of acceptance in your life across all areas of your life. Okay, so for this week, an exercise that I thought you might want to try is to write down perhaps 5 or 10 things that you say to yourself that aren't very nice, okay? And then look at that list and flip it and look at what the real truth is and focus on how could I be nicer to myself. Instead of saying, you really blew it, you said the wrong thing and caused a big upset, you might want to flip that around to something like, I was actually very concerned, I love so-and-so, or that situation caused me a lot of worry, and so I am actually a very compassionate person who loves others deeply. So I hope you get the idea of that, and just imagine how it would be if you practice that regularly, just catching yourself, being self-rejecting and flipping that around to self-acceptance. Another thing you can do, I don't know if you practice daily affirmations, but another one that comes from Robert Holden is, I see myself and others through the eyes of love. So just sit with that for a minute. I see myself and others through the eyes of love. And love, maybe to you, God, the universe, just love in general, that non-judgmental love, the all-encompassing love that we all need and want, that unconditional love. And so I just want to close this video with a quote from psychologist Brene Brown, and it says, I now see how owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. I now see how owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. So we all have stories. We all have had ups and downs. We will continue to, and just I encourage you to really love yourself through that, and start practicing self-acceptance, self-love. And I wish you well with that this week, and look forward to your feedback and to talking with you next week. Thanks.